2025 Belmont. I've got the top 5 horses for you to look at. Hi, I'm Marco D'Angelo. We're going to preview this year's Belmont Stakes. They haven't drawn post positions yet, but I'm going to tell you the top 5 horses to take a look at leading into the Belmont. And then, of course, we'll be back Belmont week once post positions are drawn with the full show Pony Pundits at Wager Talk TV. Be sure not to miss that. Let's get into the top 5. Let's start with number 5, and that's Rodriguez. This horse is trained by Bob Baffert. This is a horse that was set to go in the Kentucky Derby, and a lot of people thought he would be a factor in the Derby. He likes to race one way, that's on the lead. But unfortunately, a couple days before the Derby, Rodriguez had to be scratched with a foot injury. The Connections decided to bypass the Preakness and give the horse extra time to heal from the foot injury and pointed him to the Belmont. He'll be a horse that'll be on the front end, and his strength is his early speed. In a race that doesn't appear to have a lot of early speed, that could be a key factor if he's left alone on the lead. The weakness for this horse, well, he hasn't raced since the Wood Memorial back in April. Missing the Derby and missing the Preakness is going to ask a lot for this horse to be able to go the distance in the Belmont, the 1.25 mile race. Remember, the Belmont this year is only 1.25 miles instead of the normal 1.5 miles because the race is going to be at Saratoga instead of Belmont, because the Belmont is under renovations. So for my number 5 horse, in my top 5, it is Rodriguez. Coming in at number 4 is Hill Road. Now this colt is trained by Chad Brown. This is a horse that's blossoming at the right time. He's coming off a big win, come from behind win in the Peter Pan Stakes in his last start. That's a good prep race for the Belmont. Chad Brown took this horse over this year in his training. He got a late start, but he's making up a lot of ground. He is a horse that is a stone-cold closer. That's going to be his weakness in this race. With not a lot of speed in the race, I don't think he's going to get the fractions needed to be able to come from behind like he did in the Peter Pan Stakes. His strength, well, if he does get those fractions, he'll be closing. I don't think he can win this race, but he put up a buyer speed figure in his last outing that says a little bit more of an improvement, and he could be right there. Don't overlook this horse in your exactas on the bottom end, exactas and trifectas. That's my number 4 top choice, Hill Road. Coming in at number 3 is Baeza. Now this is a horse that has flown under the radar because all of the attention has gone to journalism and sovereignty. But Baeza is a horse that is gaining ground quickly on these other 2 horses. He was flying in the Kentucky Derby. Remember, this is a horse that wasn't even in the Kentucky Derby originally. He was also eligible as the number 21 horse. When there was a scratch in the Kentucky Derby, he was able to move in. And if you remember on Derby week, we told you, watch out for this horse if he draws into the race. And he was absolutely flying in the Kentucky Derby at the end. He ran the fastest last 16th of a mile as he was gaining ground on both sovereignty and journalism. If those 2 battle again in this one, he could pick up the pieces and win the Belmont. Number 3 is Baeza, and he is a serious contender to win this race. Coming in at number 2, well, it's the Kentucky Derby winner. That's Sovereignty. He won the Derby, and even though he won the Derby and had a chance to go for the Triple Crown, his connection said no. We're bypassing the Preakness to point towards the Belmont. Takes a lot to give up a shot at winning a Triple Crown. So you got to give them credit, and you know they're pointing to this race. But if you go back to the Kentucky Derby, he won the race, no question about it. But he got the perfect trip. If you flip-flop the trip that he got and journalism got, journalism beats him. It was just one of those races where we call it in horse racing, he tripped out in the race, got the better of the trip and won the race. Both horses raced extremely well. I think he could be there. His strength is his closing ability. I think he'll be coming off of journalism's back once again. But let's see if he can hold him off a second time. Number 1, how can you not? put journalism as your top choice. Journalism has done everything asked of him. This horse did everything but win the Kentucky Derby. As I said, he did all the heavy lifting in the Kentucky Derby. He was the horse that was flying and came at the leader first. He was the horse that then had, after he put away the horses on the front end, had to stave off Sovereignty. Couldn't do it. Sovereignty got the trip and got up at the end. Again, I think if those trips were reversed and he was coming off of Sovereignty's back, he wins the race. But then let's look at that Preakness race. The horse got knocked off his feet in the stretch. Most horses not only surprised nobody went down, but he was able to re-rally after basically getting hit sideways and losing all momentum to not only regain his stride, but run down Gosper for the win. That was a tremendous effort from him. Those are his strengths. The weakness on this horse, if there is any, he is the only horse that's going to be in the Belmont field that raced in all 3 Triple Crown races. He raced in the Derby. He raced in the Preakness. That's 3 races in 5 weeks. And those first 2 races were hard races, especially the Preakness with what happened being bounced around. If anything is an equalizer in this race is the fact that he is racing for the 3rd time in 5 weeks, where Sovereignty and Baeza both are going to be fresh. But you got to put him as the #1 contender in my top 5. Guys, don't forget, tune in Wednesday on Belmont Week for the Pony Pundit Show at Wager Talk TV. Myself, Kelly in Vegas, and Sean Alvarez will be joining to break down the race in detail. Once post positions are out, we'll break it down. We'll tell you exactly who we like and how we're betting it. Check it out, Wager Talk TV.